Hello and welcome to the campus of Texas State University in San Marcos, Texas. I'm Alex Gibbs.
And I'm Ashley Bowerman. Coming up, we'll learn what it's like adapting to a new culture from some of our foreign exchange students on campus. And we'll see how the proposed border wall could affect wildlife in the Rio Grande Valley.
But we begin with a welcoming for some of America's newest citizens. About 250 people became legal citizens of the United States in a naturalization ceremony in Texas State's LBJ Student Center at the end of March. The immigrants came from 59 countries ranging from Russia to China, Pakistan to Mexico. The youngest person naturalized was born in 2000 in Iraq, while the oldest was born in 1934 and came to the U.S. from Spain. The United States Citizenship and Immigration Services Office drove up from San Antonio to the university to handle the processing and administer the certificates. After taking the oath of citizenship and reciting the Pledge of Allegiance, the ceremony was complete. This is the fourth time that Texas State has hosted the ceremony.
For many students, heading off to college is the first big migration of their lives. It's usually packing up the car, making the trip, moving in, meeting new people, but there's always the knowledge that the same trip can be made in reverse, and you can be home whenever you feel like it. But for some students, leaving home to go to school means going to a different part of the world, far from family and friends, and being immersed in a culture that is very different from what they're used to. I had the chance to meet 4 international students doing just that here at Texas State. Every academic year, international students from around the globe leave their countries to study abroad at Texas State University. The students come to gain cultural awareness and get a first-hand look into what life is like as an American.
It's been so different from the university back in Colombia. It's been really nice. People here are really welcoming, and I've experienced lots of new things, so yeah, I'm really happy.
The international students say Texas culture is a lot different from their home countries.
The food, like we eat a lot of crepes, and here it's like burgers or pizza.
Americans don't cook at all. I was so shocked because in France we have a huge emphasis on cooking and taking time to eat.
I really surprised that this big campus. Yeah, so in Japan the campus is more small and we don't have any school bus.
At the beginning, there were a lot of stuff that I didn't understand. The academic system here, the way tests are taken, everything is just so different, and it wasn't easy.
Study abroad coordinator Alexandra Sahin says adapting to the new culture can be challenging.
They go through different culture shock stages, and at the beginning it's honeymoon for them. They like everything is new and amazes them. But slowly, after a few weeks, they start feeling homesick, and that's when interaction is very important with the locals and with other international students.
I talk with American students, but also like Japanese students, Australians, so it's really diverse.
As of fall 2018, 557 international students from 67 different countries have migrated to Texas State to study. Sahin says despite our differences, it's important that we embrace the unique aspects of other cultures.
Despite of differences, we have so many similarities. We just need to continue exploring it, and it never stops. Learning never stops.
So what was the most common comment you got from the different exchange students talking about their experience here in Texas?
Absolutely. I remember all of them saying that Texas State culture in particular, we are all very friendly, very warming, very outgoing, and very happy.
Of course, here in Texas, when talking migration, the building of the border wall with Mexico is front and center.
The government has already asked permission from more than 570 landowners in both the Star and Hidalgo counties in the Rio Grande Valley to survey their land for possible placement of the border wall.
But as our Geno Perez found, it's not just people being affected by the border wall expansion in Hidalgo County. He brings us this interview from the National Butterfly Center in Mission, Texas.
One of the reasons we have in the lower Rio Grande Valley the greatest diversity of butterflies found anywhere on the North American landscape is because of the diversity of our fauna. Butterfly species are intimately tied to plant species. Where you have an enormous diversity of plant life, you will have a commensurate diversity of butterfly life.
Although no construction has taken place here at the National Butterfly Center, there has been construction that has taken place in neighboring properties. If that construction were to move from those properties to here at the National Butterfly Center, that could cause devastation to not only the habitats here, but also the wildlife that reside here.
In order to begin the wall construction, they would have to clear about 5 acres of our property. Not only clear it, but pour concrete and their rubberized all-weather road material over it, and then install 24-hour, all-night blitzkrieg lighting. All of those things will eliminate plants and wildlife from the landscape. And then, of course, some of those species that are present and documented here are endangered and threatened species, species that are protected by the National Environmental Policy Act and the Endangered Species Act, but all of those laws have been waived for wall construction. So the Clean Air Act, the Clean Water Act, the Solid Waste Disposal Act, the Migratory Bird Treaty Act, all waived for border wall construction.
That was Geno Perez reporting. The 100-acre center is home to more than 240 of North America's 700 butterfly species. We did reach out to Customs and Border Protection to participate. Through a spokesperson, they declined, citing an ongoing lawsuit between the Butterfly Center and the government.
On July 20th of last year, 5 people were killed and hundreds were left homeless after someone set a fire and destroyed the iconic Village apartments here in San Marcos. Those 5 deaths have been ruled homicides, but 9 months later, police have made no arrests in connection to the fire. As the community here waits for answers, students who lived in the apartments have moved into new places and have started to replace their belongings. But in many cases, the trauma they experienced that night has yet to go away. I had a chance to talk with one such student who is trying to move on from that night with the help of a new friend. It takes real determination and courage to recover from losing everything. But what sets 22-year-old Branson Fairbrother apart is not what he lost, but who became his best friend. This is Molly, Branson's emotional support dog and his hero.
She's a light in my life, and I'm just so grateful for her.
Branson, a Texas State senior, lost his apartment in the iconic Village fire, after quickly having to relocate to a small house outside San Marcos with nothing to his name. His grandmother gave Molly to him as a housewarming gift.
And she's a loving little dog.
So you walk everywhere with Molly?
Yeah, pretty much. We love walking. She's a great walker. She can walk forever. She tires me out sometimes.
But more importantly, during his depression and lonely nights in an empty house on an air mattress, Branson says that his beagle was the only thing that kept him calm.
It took a long time to fall asleep. Every time I would close my eyes and start to drift to sleep, I would just see flames. I didn't realize how much I needed her until I saw her face. And I was so happy to just to not be alone.
Even after losing all of his possessions, Branson says that Molly is the greatest possession of all.
This won't be my home forever. You know, I'm gonna move again eventually, but wherever I go, I'll still have her around.
As the saying goes, home is where the heart is. But to Branson, there's a bit of a twist. Home is where the paws are.
You know, Alex, I actually remember that summer, and I actually had the opportunity to be live on the scene after that fire and was able to talk to people who were directly affected. And it is so touching to be able to see someone have such a positive from such a negative in their lives.
It's a perfect example of how friendship can be the best in the darkest of times. That'll do it for us here at Texas State. We're so glad we could be a part of this. I'm Alex Gibbs.
And I'm Ashley Bowerman. Whether it's day or night where you are, have a good one. And thanks for joining us here at Texas State.